Dr. Singh, we had this launch of the space docking experiment. What does that mean for India? And the big vision which has been created by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Uh, Give me a little bit on that.
No, thank you, Pallab. Thank you, first of all, for having me with you. And also, I must appreciate your keen interest in all our scientific endeavors, including those related to the Department of Space, which is, I'm sure, going to create a lot of interest in the minds of the common citizens as well. Now, as you rightly mentioned, as far as the Department of Space is concerned and our space missions are concerned, I think the credit entirely goes to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, because for the first time he enabled us to engage all these stakeholders. In fact, a whole of science and the whole of a nation approach, with the private participants also stepping up in a big way. Now, you would recall, because you've been following this sector for a pretty long time, there were times when space sector was virtually forbidden to the private sector, and even those working in the Department of Space or at ISRO or in Sriharikota had reconciled to the fact that it would never open up. So in fact, they had almost given up that demand. But after 2014, when this was put across to Prime Minister Modi, he was so forthcoming. He allowed us to engage in public-private participation. In fact, in order to facilitate that, we were allowed to set up an interface called InSpace, then a new PSU called ISIL. And there has been a huge investment in the space sector, as a result of which space economy is very fast emerging as an important component of overall Indian economy. We hope to go up by 3-4 times at least in the next 8 or 9 years. And the budget that you were referring to by the government of about 21,000 crore as a part of our missions for the next few years, as a part of the Amrit Kal 2047 mission, is itself a testimony to the fact the priority which the government gives to this sector, which was not forthcoming during the earlier governments, because it was never a very prioritized sector. So I think that's going to make a difference. On the one hand, it's going to give India an esteem. India is already a frontline nation in the Committee Awards. And the other hand is going to give India a technology enough to bring ease of living in the lives of the people of the country.
Now, on space docking, what does that enable us? Is it an enabling technology so that India can now, from just being a nation which was launching, becomes a spacefaring nation where you can do multiple objectives in space?
Yeah, of course, as you rightly mentioned in your question itself, we are among the league of just 4 nations. We are the 4th one who have entered into this, and the other 3, in fact, had been attempting and experimenting for pretty many years. We started off early, but we are there. And as you rightly mentioned, to go over to the next level, we need this docking and undocking. It's just like walking from one space aircraft to the other, which would enable us in carrying out the transfer of payloads, transfer of important materials, maybe one day also movement of one human astronaut from one space vehicle into the other, to and to fro. Which is going to be cost effective, also going to be imperative for us, because otherwise what was the practice till now was that you would send up the satellite when the life of it was exhausted, or you had stopped receiving the inputs, or the fuel was exhausted, then you would give up its services. So you lost the satellite lost you. Now you could even supplement the fuel necessities, the batteries, etc. If you thought you could, you wanted to have it in place for more than the scheduled time, beyond 2 years or so, you could actually enable it to do so. And since we are also planning to have our own space station by 2035 called the Bharatiya Antariksh Station, there also, in order to carry out the transport of all these materials will be required. And I think another important part which gives us a lot of esteem is that this is being accomplished totally on the basis of indigenous technology. That's why it's been appropriately named Bharatiya Docking System.